Big baller, got my Benzema. Goal for me neck, nah give me eczema. Big baller, got my Benzema. Anyway you see me, you a fizzy 10 killer.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is the Juggle right here on Slam 100.5. Today is Monday, 13th September 2021, and we are talking in our Healthy Holistic Haven segment today, Rest and Recovery Part 2, joined as always by our friends from Superb Health and Fitness. Let's say a wonderful good afternoon to Akini Thomas and David Warner, as always sitting in for this very informative segment. And today, Rest and Recovery again takes the focus. We are expected to be joined by a physiotherapist, and a certified one at that, who has worked with some really top athletes and teams across the region, including the great and legendary Usain Bolt, Asafa Powell, and Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price. Micky Ruben is expected to be joining the discussion. But in the meantime, Akini, David, welcome once again, guys. How are you?
Hi.
Great,
Good evening,
great.
everybody. Guys,
Afternoon.
you've been doing well. How y'all been doing?
Well,
I just find all the targeting we know, because you come back again this week to talk about, rest and recovery, if we just get injured right through, that's what China saying smart.
No, that's not what we're trying to say, but that's what we're trying to avoid.
Right.
We're definitely trying to avoid you and Jassy from going out there
The
to
prevention is better than
become injured.
Understood.
We want Jassy to be to the point where the warm-up doesn't affect him anymore, and he's above par all the time.
that was last week. We enter a new week, and I think my fitness levels are showing improvement. So let's stay off of me for this short bit, guys. So in our healthy holistic haven, we're talking rest and recovery part 2. Now, guys, you guys are saying that some of the most common injuries attained by fitness enthusiasts and athletes, and there are ways to I guess detect them and ways to treat them. So what would be, I guess, in your experiences, some of the most common injuries you guys have had to deal with, and the best ways to treat some of them?
The most common injuries we notice in our experience is 3 types. It's basically the runner's knee or jumper's knee, shin splints, that's the most irritating one, and Achilles tendonitis. Those 3, most times you're gonna be experiencing at least 1 or 2 of those 3 from any sort of exercise that you're doing, whether it be at an amateur level or you're playing sports, any kind of thing like that. It's just a basic loading of the muscles a lot. You're not practicing any sort of recovery the normal Trinidad way. Just rest, come back out, do it all over again. So your muscles tend to start tensing up, knotting up, becoming really, really tight. We finally got Micky on, so
yeah. So Micky Ruben has joined the discussion, and he is again, I can't say this enough, because this is really information, guys, that you should take if you have your recorder, your voice recorder, if you have your pen or paper handy. This is information that could come in very useful in the future. We're talking rest and recovery in our Healthy Holistic Haven segment. And of course, that is powered by the Superb Health and Fitness family. And of course, they've been so kind to link us up with a certified physiotherapist, Micky Ruben, who is currently employed with the University of Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, he has worked in the past with some really A-class athletes and teams to ensure that their physiotherapy needs are taken care of. So let's welcome Micky to the Juggle right here on Slam 100.5.
Good night, gentlemen.
No,
I'm very happy to be here.
So David, just before Micky joined in, you would have been pointing out some of the most common injuries among athletes or among fitness enthusiasts, persons who are physically active. So Stefano does not necessarily qualify at this point in time. Stefano, just at this point in time. But we know
I'll deal with you off here. You carry on now.
You know, so all right. So having pointed out things like runners or jumpers knee, the Achilles tendonitis as some of the top injuries. You know, what are some of the best ways to prevent these from occurring if you are physically active?
Can you take this one?
Yeah, definitely. So again, it's something we often talk about in Trinidad, where prevention is better than cure. So, I mean, to avoid these injuries, whether it be the shin splints or the jumper's knee or any sort of injury like that, as we would have mentioned last week, we were touching on proper warm-up and stretches before any type of physical activity. So mainly getting in those warm-up and those stretches in before your whatever type of physical activity you're going into, especially if it's a serious sport. Stretching those muscle groups that you'll be going to focus on in the specific sport. In this case, you're talking about football. So you don't just want to stretch your basic hamstring and quad muscles or your thighs, as everybody knows it. You also want to stretch stuff like your hamstrings, all those things, because the thing is, one specific muscle could lead to another muscle becoming affected. So you may get a pain in your hamstring, but it may be something that happening in your glutes or in your calves or so on. So definitely to prevent those things would be proper warm-up and stretching.
Excellent.
As some of the preventative measures.
Excellent, guys. So I just want to ask Micky, you know, from your personal experience, I'm sure a lot of the listeners are wondering, you know, because we've heard your CV, we've heard about, you know, some of the star athletes that you would have worked with in the past. I see you smiling. So can you know, shed some light on what your interactions would have been like with the likes of the Usain Bolts and the Asafa Powells of this world, and what they are like behind closed doors?
Okay, well, the likes of Usain Bolt, Asafa Powell, Shelley and Fraser Price, at some point or the other, I would have been the personal therapist to all of them. Right? And then in case of Usain Bolt, he's the daughter of my godfather, so we were very, very close off the track as well. You know?
He's the godfather of your daughter. He's the godfather of your daughter.
Yeah, so and then as also in the case of Usain Bolt, I would have also been the one that designed all his core strength work that would not just rehabilitate him from injury, but also to cause prevention of injuries that he would have had long-standing over the years.
Excellent. So in terms of you know, the local setup as compared to the Jamaican setup.
I don't know, for some reason I'm not hearing you.
All right, so let's try to get back in with David and Akini in the meantime while we sort out those technical issues happening from Micky's standpoint. Now, guys, so I am all right. How do I put this? Stefano, we spoke about this last week, playing through
injury.
What we may have thought was not an injury, and it turned out to be injury in the latter years. So let's say, for instance, so recently I damaged my knee, left knee, right? And I've, as Akini pointed out, I've started experiencing pain in other places that I didn't even know existed.
Right.
You know, from sometimes even the slightest movements, from walking for a long period, standing for a long period. How do persons, I guess, deal or treat with some of these sort of domino or knock-on effect injuries? What are some of the things that you guys recommend to, first of all, identify them and then treat them?
Well, first of all, a lot of us, we don't know the importance of massages, right? Massages is
like
basically...
a massage or...
massages.
Like a real
sports massages. Real sports massages.
I thought you mean just a little scrub down and rub down.
No, not just a rub down. An actual sports massage from a physiotherapist. Now that goes hand in hand with every exercise, every person. whether amateur, high level, it is basically the tune-up to your car. Every 2 months, 3 months, you tune up your vehicle. That is what massages does for your body. So it takes away a lot of the soreness, the tightness. From playing a lot, your muscles develop knots, a lot of knots. Scar tissue. Scar tissue is basically, you ever get cut on the outside of your skin and you get a scab? It is basically the same effect on the inside. Every time you damage your muscle, you will get a scab and scar tissue, but it doesn't go away like on the outer part. A physiotherapist would actually flush that out for you. Would be able to, they will know how to get rid of it. And those things affect your performance, affect your mobility. A lot of things happen and it's a domino effect. So as Akini was saying, sometimes the area that you're feeling the pain in is not really the area that it comes from, you know?
All right, so Micky, I don't know if you're hearing me now. Yeah? Okay. So really quickly, Micky, you know, you've worked in the Jamaican setting. You know, you've also worked locally. What would you say is or are the major differences in terms of the athletic setup in Trinidad versus the athletic setup in Jamaica in terms of how the athletes take care of their bodies? What causes the Jamaican team to be so successful versus local sprint and athletic stars?
All right, well, the answer to that question is multiple fold, but I'll give you the most basic ones. Because they compete at such a high level, going through their prep school, primary school, high school championships, the school treat them in terms of therapy and training like somewhat of professionals. So which means the volume of athletes that you would have competing at that level, it's easy to lose your spot. So everybody pay attention to all the more finer details that they need to get themselves to that next level, because they know it's easy to lose your seat on the bus.
I've lost my seat on the bus.
Bench time, yeah.
I've lost
bench
my seat
time.
on the bus more than a couple times.
Scrub a little bench, yeah.
Guys, it's our healthy, holistic haven with our friends from Superb Health and Fitness, and they were just here to take us through part 2 of the discussion, rest and recovery. Identifying some injuries or some of the more common injuries experienced by those who are physically active, runners or jumpers, knee, Achilles or knee tendinitis being one of them, and of course shin splints. You know, and every time I think about shin splints, I think about Ravi Rampal or Trinidad fast bowler who would have suffered, you know, repeatedly with that injury. But anyway. We want to say thank you to Superb Health and Fitness. We want to say thank you to Micky Ruben, certified physiotherapist who has worked internationally with some of the big names in track and field, Usain Bolt, Asafa Powell, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, just to name a few. This has been our healthy, holistic haven right here on the Juggle. When we come back, we are talking FIFA Pro Clubs and a major announcement set to take place right here on the Juggle, Rabs and Banter. Stay tuned.